Okay, in the previous video we were talking about question 1b. So when you're stating your hypothesis, you say no relation, relation, in general, anytime p-value is less than or equal level of significance, you reject. And if there is no level of significance, we assume 5%. Now, we put everything in this formula, and we did, and it was 3.4185. We need the p-value for this. Now, you can go to Google and put p-value t calculator. There are a lot of websites that help you find the p-value. They will ask you for the degree freedom. Degree freedom is always n minus 2 for regression. And since there is a sample of 10, so your degree freedom is 8. They're also going to ask you for what alpha is. Now here you need to be careful. If they mention one tail, then when you take your 5% and you divide it by 2. And if they say two tails, you just take it as it is. If they don't mention, then usually it's a one tail system and you divide it by 2. So you go to any website, such say p-value t calculator, put the degree freedom 8, 5% of two tail, and 2.5 if it's one tail. I did it earlier, and p-value was about 0.091. So you're ready to make a conclusion. So p-value of 0.091, you go back here. Is this number less than 5%? Yes. So this is satisfied. We're going to reject H0, conclude HA. Anytime you reject H0, you have to say type 1 error could be committed. With risk equals alpha, the 5%. So you're rejecting H0, you're concluding HA or H1. So you're saying yes to this. There is relationship. So in English, you say we have enough evidence to show that there is a relation between hours and exam percentage. Okay. Remember when we found the relationship, the y hat, and it was 39 hours, and this is B1 slope, and this is B0, the y-intercept. And the C question, they're asking you, Does the sign of the slope make sense? Well, you look at the sign of the slope, you see it's positive. That means the more hours you spend studying, the higher exam score you get. Which makes sense. So you say yes, slope is positive, more hours of studying leads to higher exam percentage. In fact, for every hour of study or studying, exam percentage will go up by 2.1223. So that's the meaning of this number. For every hour, exam will go up by 2.1223. And if they ask you for what this number is, the intercept, this means if someone spends 0 hours, then his or her exam score is 39. So this is the starting point. So spending no hours, exam is 39. Every hour you spend, exam will go up by 2.1223. So they ask you in C, does this make sense? Does the slope sign make sense? Yes, it's positive. Makes sense because logically more hours lead to higher exam score. And then they tell you, what if it's negative? Well, if it's negative, it would mean more studying. The more you spend studying, the less exam percentage you'll have. So that would be the meaning if it happens to be negative. Good. Indeed, they ask you, this guy, Fred, and he studied 25 hours. Can you figure out his exam score? Well, before you do this, before you plug 25 into hours, you go back to the list of numbers given. Is 25 within range? So you have hours and you have exam, and there are about 10 different numbers. So you look at the hours. You look for the minimum or maximum. Is 25 within range? And you'll see, yes, it's within range. So you can use the equation. If they ask you, Fred spent 100 hours, can you predict his GPA? In this case, you say no. It's outside range. So this equation is only good for numbers within range. So you say, okay, we can, and all we need to do is plug 25. This will give you 924583. This is our prediction. So using the equation, you are predicting only. So this is not necessarily what's going to be the real thing. The real thing, the actual number, will be the number in the table. So you look at the table, you'll see there is 25, and there is an exam percentage with it. This number here is called actual. This is only a projection when you use the equation. And the difference between them, actual minus predicted, is called residual. But the question doesn't ask for this. So all what the question is, can you predict the exam score for Fred, who spent 25 hours of studying? You check to see if 25 is within range. It is within range, so you just plug. His exam score is 92.4583. But in addition to this, this is your projection. So your equation can only predict. The table gives you, the given table gives you the actual numbers. So the actual number for 25, you'll see there is a certain percentage, that's the actual percentage. And the difference between actual and projected is always called residual. Okay, this would be the end of part 2. When we come back, we'll do C and D.